Hello, welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our national and political landscape and how they impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, we'll examine how bandits overran Kaduna-Abuja train, abducted dozens and killing 8 persons. And later on the show, Super Eagles failed to secure World Cup tickets. So in the course of the program, we'll take your questions. But first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. It's nice to have you.
Thank you for doing this with me.
Right. So let's start with the Kaduna-Abuja tragedy. Reading the accounts of the victims of the terrorist attack on the Kaduna-Abuja train would send shivers down one's spine. Talk to us about what you make of this attack. It's not very clear that we are in dire security straits, Bikil.
I think that this attack on the train shows clearly just how we fail to heed early warnings by bandits and terrorists in our country. Before now, the train had been attacked by bandits. They fired at the train and damaged the train. Before now, the rail tracks were damaged by these same bandits whose mission was simply to force people to stop using the trains so that they can then use the road a lot more. And when people use the road, they are a lot more vulnerable to attacks by bandits who are very many on that particular highway. So their goal all along was to ensure that people lost confidence, people lost faith in the security that the trains can provide, and then be forced to use the road a lot more. So they have been working at that for some time. But unfortunately, as a country, we didn't take the right steps. We didn't take the right measures to ensure that people got protected and ensure that the rail tracks were protected. And there were early warning signs. And as I've said repeatedly, the whole area where these bandits operate is just about 30 kilometers, just a 30-kilometer radius. That is the area linking Regina, Jide, and Akilibu. It is in those 3 communities that we find forests on both sides of the road along that highway. So it's just along that stretch alone that we could say passengers, bus travelers, and even those traveling by rail have come under any form of attack. Armed robbery on that road are taking place along that axis. So the question is, why was it difficult for us to protect that area, to militarize that area and ensure that our people were safe and secure? There is no point spending so much money on infrastructure that terrorists, that bandits will destroy at will. If bandits make it difficult for people to use the trains, if they poison the minds of trained users, then how is government going to make money from a piece of modern transportation that they had invested so many billions on? So we had an opportunity to secure that whole area, but we refused to do it. And as we have seen, the bandits chose a day to teach us a lesson as a nation. Then why were we also moving along that route at night when we knew that we had not provided sufficient security? I mean, if it was in daytime, it could have been a lot more difficult for them. But you are causing people to travel at night, yet you provided no form of security whatsoever. I mean, it's unheard of, and those whose duty it is to secure our people should really be ashamed of themselves in terms of their inability to provide security for our people. How did I understand that even some bandits got onto that train and were communicating via walkie-talkies? The bandits this time didn't use their favored means of transport, which is by motorbike. They came in buses and loaded dozens and dozens of people into buses and took them into the forest, most likely in the expansive forest of Nigeria's largest state, Niger, which shares boundary with the Federal Capital Territory. So that is what we have seen. I just hope that we will learn a good lesson from this and secure that whole area.
Okay, right. BKO, in that wise, Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir Rufai threatened to bring in foreign mercenaries to fight terrorists hibernating in forest areas around Kaduna State if the federal government under President Muhammad Buhari fails to tackle the terrorism head-on. He has also urged the military to rain bombs on the terrorists in the forest. Way to go, would you say?
It's not enough to simply drop bombs on those terrorists. The surface troops, the army has to be ready to occupy areas where the terrorists have dominated, areas where they have their camps. It has to be a coordinated operation. The terrorists, the army and the air force working together. Without that, we can't achieve our aims. You cannot defeat that kind of enemy by simply throwing bombs at them. And these bombs are very expensive. I doubt if the governor knows how expensive these bombs are. To simply think that you could defeat terrorists by dropping bombs on them is just I'm struggling to find the right word. It's actually foolhardy. The armed forces must work together. The police, the army, they've got to work together. You have to take those forests from them and secure those forests. And as we all know, these guys are very mobile. They do not stay in one place for so long. Even when they abduct people, they are constantly moving them so that they can evade detection, eventual military action. So it's a coordinated operation that we need, involving the armed forces and happening simultaneously across all the areas where bandits are known to hibernate, not simply to to bomb them. But if he wants to bring mercenaries without the support of the federal government, I doubt if that can happen. But I think he's just frustrated about the fact that our armed forces are not doing enough. And on that, we've got to interrogate the morale, the readiness to fight on the part of our armed forces. I believe that this is the reason the governor is thinking about bringing in mercenaries. Mercenaries did a good job in Borno State before the 2015 election. But I don't know, the terrain is different. I don't know how well they will adapt to the forest of the Northwest. It's really made better deployment of strategy on the part of our armed forces.
All right. So, well, travelers have now resorted to using dreaded highways across Kaduna. It's now clear that travelers and residents of Kaduna State have now found themselves between the devil and the deep blue sea. Because, so what would you say as the Railway Corporation, Nigeria Railway Corporation says, restoration of the rail tracks will begin today, meaning that they are racing to ensure that the railway services, get back into, work. So what would you say about this? A lot of people are now very skeptical about the security around about using railway. I mean, the train.
Well, it fits perfectly into the goal of the bandits. What they wanted was simply to redirect traffic back to the highway, especially the VIPs, because a lot of the VIPs were not going by road, they were using the trains, and then they will send their aides to come and pick them at the at the terminal, at the train terminal station. So they've achieved their aim now, because even airlines have served notice that they will not be going to Kaduna, will be flying into Kaduna until further notice, after the incident that happened last week when gun-toting bandits invaded the runway, stopping an Asman flight bound for Lagos from taking off. So this fits into the plans of the bandits to send people back to the highway where they are much more vulnerable. So I can only hope that the train will be fixed, the damaged coach will be fixed quickly, and the rail tracks will as well be repaired, so that our people can get back to traveling by rail. And of course, talking about traveling by rail, we still have to find a way to secure our people, secure that corridor, where that 30-kilometer corridor where the bandits are operating. Once we can secure that area with forest on both sides, the people will feel more comfortable to travel on that road.
Right. Let me take a question from one of our viewers on YouTube. It says, Abdullahi Suleiman says, Uncle Jide, good analysis. If El Rufai insists, in doing this, does he have the constitutional power to do so?
I have my doubts that it can be permitted to bring in mercenaries to come and fight in our country. Sometimes the governor says these things and you wonder what he wants to achieve by some of the comments that he makes.
Right.
If you are not allowed to form regional security outfits, except where they are backed by law, as the states of the Southwest have done with respect of Amotekun, I doubt if a governor can be allowed to bring in foreign fighters. And it's also something that we have to be careful. The mercenaries that he's talking about, who are they? Where is he going to bring them from? Where is he going to bring them from? Because we've had people brought in militias into our country, armed them, and those militias refuse to go back to where they brought them from. And some of them are believed to even be working for bandits at this time. So we don't know the kind of people that he wants to bring into our country, but I doubt if it could be permitted to do that. Because I don't think it is within his powers to bring foreign fighters to come and fight in our country. Even the governor of Borno State has been asking the federal government to bring in foreign military contractors, as some people like to call them. Some people don't like to call them mercenaries, the military contractors. But he's been pushing that to the federal government. Governor Zulum has never said that he will bring them in by himself. I think the governor of Kaduna State is frustrated by the inability of our armed forces to deal decisively with this problem, and his frustration is showing is demonstrated by some of the threats that is issued. I doubt if he can pull that through. I doubt if he will be allowed to bring in mercenaries into our country.
All right, let's change tack by talking about the other topic. We'll take some of the questions, since in the course of having that conversation on the first topic. But let's address the second topic, which is on the Super Eagles' failure to qualify for Qatar 2022. Now, Super Eagles crashed out of 2021 Nations Cup and will not also be at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Where did you think the national team got it wrong, Biko?
In many ways, we got it wrong. I don't think that our players had the fighting spirit needed to win a match of such magnitude. The lack of fighting spirit had caused us to lose many games. With every passing minute in that game, I felt that the Ghanaians wanted that ticket a lot more. They put so much into the match. Our players were lethargic. They could not string 5 passes together. I've been talking about this for so long. The teamwork was not evident. Even before Genatura was sacked, we saw that our team didn't have teamwork. We have good players. No one will argue about that. But the teamwork was not there. And the midfield was very weak. The Ghanaians controlled the midfield. And from that midfield, they were able to dictate the pace of the game. The statistics will show that the Eagles had greater possession, created more chances. But statistics don't say everything. The Ghanaians, in terms of holding the ball, they were a lot better. And once you can control the midfield in the game, you place yourself in a very good position to win such a game. So we didn't control the game. We didn't control the midfield. We didn't have a creative midfielder who could boss the game, control the game, hold the game by the scruff of the neck, and dictate the play. We didn't have any player who could dictate the play. We had players who were mainly enforcers, defensive midfielders. But if you didn't have creative midfielders, how are you going to get passes across to Osimhen, the danger man? We had a good striker with fighting spirit and everything, but he just didn't get the right service. So how do you win a game if your striker is not afforded the passes and the service that he needs to deliver the goods? So clearly the midfield um, did not deliver. The defense was fine, but the midfield didn't deliver. Of course, the coaches will take a share of the blame. I don't think Eguavoen was the best that we could find. I want to believe that someone like the late Shaibu Amadu will have qualified Nigeria for the World Cup if he got the opportunity, because he had the technical acumen. He was a top class coach in his day. But Eguavoen has been given opportunities in the past. He had coached the Eagles 2 times before this last misadventure, and he achieved nothing. So I don't think the people who brought him to coach the Eagles meant well for our country. So in terms of coaching, some people argue that they had to leave Eguavoen because the time was too close to bring in a new coach. But the Cameroonians brought in a new coach after the Nations Cup, and we saw what they did. They qualified Cameroon for the World Cup. They brought in a new coach. The Ghanaians brought in a new coach, and they qualified for the World Cup. So what are we talking about?
So
if you bring in a new
Dike,
coach, the time that we had was sufficient for him to deliver the goods. It just, in terms of game management, Eguavoen was not good enough at game management. He does not know the right time to bring in his substitutions, and he just didn't read the game well. He just didn't know what to do.
Right. Is that to say it's time we hired a foreign coach?
I've always believed in a foreign coach, and the best achievements that African teams have recorded were by foreign coaches. I have no doubt about it that the foreign coaches, they've done well in this continent of Africa. And I believe a foreign coach will have done a much better job if you get the right coach. Many times we bring in coaches that are really not good enough. But if we can find a coach, a foreign coach who has the pedigree, who has done well in other places, then we can be sure that he will deliver the goods. I still believe in foreign coaches. We qualified for the World Cup for the first time under a foreign coach. We won the Nations Cup for the first time under a foreign coach. We won our Olympic gold medal under a foreign coach. So some of the best achievements that we have recorded, not just us, the continent of Africa, some of the best achievements that we have recorded were under foreign coaches. But we must find the right foreign coach.
Right. What implication do you think the unruly behavior of the fans after the match at the MK Abiola Stadium would have on the permission to host any FIFA competition in the future? Let's talk about the fans themselves now.
Yes. The fans had no business encroaching or occupying the field of play. Even if you were occupying the field simply to jubilate, it is not permitted. Football fans are not permitted to invade the pitch in the name of jubilation or protest. So Nigeria will be punished for that. I can't preempt the punishment that is on the way, but every time you invaded the pitch in the way we have done, you got punished. So, and not only did they invade the pitch, they damaged the stadium, and even a CAF official suffered a heart attack on the night, maybe out of being terrified or something. So we are going to be punished, but you see, a lot of the fans were angry with the lethargic performance of the Eagles. They were just angry that the team played badly. You know, you could lose a game and people will go home satisfied. But on this day, we played badly. We played badly. We did not just show up at all. We did not put in our best. And the fans were very angry. On a day that they gave so much support to the Eagles, that was not what they expected. So they let their country down. And I've read a story in which the NFF has apologized to Nigerians. It's not enough to apologize. The NFF president should do the honorable thing, which is to quit his job. He should resign. But I know he will not resign. He's already thinking of a third term. So, after all, we've seen people in his position on this continent quit their jobs after they let their country down. Pinnick, Amaju Pinnick let Nigeria down, and he has to resign. If he has a shred of honor left in him, the right thing to do is to quit the job, is to say, Nigerians, I let you down. I couldn't deliver on my promise to take our country to the World Cup. Therefore, I quit. But I do not see him quitting. A typical Nigerian, but if he has honor left in him, he should do the honorable thing, which is to quit his job as NFL.
Well, anyway, that could be a tall order, except for Kemi Adeosun, who was not a typical Nigerian. You know, that's what we could see, and that's how much we've seen in this country as far as resigning from your position, you know, has always been. So I think Evans is not, he doesn't agree with you. It says we cannot continue to rely on foreign coaches, but train our local coaches to handle our national teams. He added that most of the countries in Africa are now using their local coaches. Don't hire any foreign coach. Do you agree with him?
I disagree with him. I disagree. We are still learning the game of football. We are still learning. The best an African country has done is to get to the quarterfinal of the World Cup. That's the best that we've done, and it was also under a foreign coach. Senegal got to the quarterfinal of the World Cup, coached by a foreigner. Ghana got to the quarterfinal of the World Cup, coached by a foreigner. So the best that we have done were under these foreign coaches. I believe that a foreign coach is best for us. A foreign coach who is well respected. Are you telling me that if Pep Guardiola were to come and coach Nigeria, that we won't do well? Look at Belgium. Belgium has a foreign coach. It has a foreign coach. And is one of the top rated countries in the world. Look at the FIFA ranking and see where Belgium is. Belgium is coached by a foreigner, and they've been doing well since they appointed him. So are you saying that if we had a Pep Guardiola, that would not do wonders with the area of talents that we have? No. So this is my position. We need a foreign coach.
All right.
We tried our local coaches, and they've always failed.
All right.
We don't even have local coaches in the class of Amadou Akeshi anymore. We don't have.
Yeah, that's correct. So let's go to our earlier topic. Samuel Femi is asking a question, saying how valid are claims by Kawu Baraje that these bandits were brought in pre-2015 to disrupt things and videos showing repented, or let's say repentant Boko bandits, claiming they were promised jobs and resettlement if President Buhari won?
Well, one thing that you want to ask yourself is, how come nobody has challenged Kawu Baraje over this particular claim? I think that the fact that it's not been challenged may well mean that, to an extent, the story is true. I still believe that somebody needs to stand up and tell us a lot more about this matter. Did you bring in foreign fighters ahead of the election? We need to hear more. So if Kawu Baraje was lying, then somebody needs to get up and tell us that indeed he lied. But if his claims go on challenged, indeed this was what happened.
All right, so another question from Mike. Why is it that USA and other foreign countries are able to investigate and prosecute the sponsors of these criminals, and yet Nigeria can't do the same?
Well, maybe political issues are involved. I wouldn't know, but I would want to. I don't see any reason why the UAE will provide us a lead about the sponsors of Boko Haram terror, and up to now, we have not brought them to court. We have not served justice to them. I really can't explain. It is the office of the Attorney General that needs to tell Nigerians what it is doing. Why the delay? If we are desperate to win the war on terror, then all the people who play one part or another in ensuring that we have no peace in our country, they should be brought to justice. They should be brought to court and made to face the full wrath of the law.
All right, Biko, we are coasting home. To Niger is trying to profile solution, or is offering a solution to the quagmire we found ourselves. And I wanted to speak to that. He, in his own thoughts, he believed that the solution is staring us in the face, that recruit more security personnel, let's stop this. I mean, he's saying that we should recruit more security personnel.
Yes. That could be one of the ways by which we can solve the problem, because we do not have enough soldiers, we don't have enough police, and some of the forests where these are operating massive. So you need much more troops than we have currently to secure those forests. You can imagine a local government like Maru in Zamfara state is bigger than some states in the south, in the southwest. It's bigger than the Ekiti state, for example. So you need so many troops to secure a lot of your government spaces in our country. The Speaker of the Borno State House of Assembly was still talking the other day about the need to secure its local government from Boko Haram. Boko Haram still controls its local government. That's the Zamora local government. So we need for many years we were not recruited regularly into the police and the army. Now is the time for us to take the recruitment of people into the army seriously. We need more soldiers. There are young people who will be happy to get into the armed forces and defend their fatherland.
Oh, and. All right, so it's just what it is, and the most important thing is that we actually, trying to, looking for solutions in some of the problems we find ourselves in this country. BKO, this is where we end it, and that's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, as always, for your insightful analysis.
Thank you, Babjide.
All right, so thank you to our audience for joining us on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. On behalf of the team, I'm Ibrahim Sheeta. See you again next edition. Bye for now.